Welcome back to The Bloated Chef. I am Chef Jerome, an actual bloated chef. And before we get to today's informative and entertaining tutorial, please be sure to slap down on that like button, click the subscribe button, smash that notification bell, and share with the entire planet. Please keep your hands inside the ride at all times, and we thank you. And we are back on the big board today. It's bloated chef time. Look at this mess of seafood. This dish goes out in honor of my big brother AJ and his lovely wife Liz. That is some fresh cod that I froze and pull out of the freezer. A couple pieces of swordfish. Look at those big periwinkle snails. Baby clams in the shells. Couple of onions. Big ass bulb of fennel. Fresh tarragon? Yes. Fresh basil? Yes. I've got San Marzano. Look at those mussels. San Marzano tomatoes, onion bulbs just for shits and giggles. Lots of garlic, white wine, the old San Francisco treat. No, it's not rice-a-roni. It's seafood cioppino, fisherman stew. Off we go! And alright, let's get started with the leg or quite a bit of prep to this. But let's talk about the history of cioppino because it's such a cool dish. You know, some of the best dishes are made out of a little bit of curiosity and a tad bit of necessity. Cioppinos is something like that. There's a couple of different myths to it, but basically during the 1850s in San Francisco, the Italian fishermen would take the leftovers of the daily catch, like the scraps, think like clams, crab, fish, lots of shrimp, and typically just cook it down with some wine and onion and herbs and nice tomatoes. And they really created something that's kind of worth drooling over, to be honest with you. Alright, our fennel and onions and green onion bulbs are done. Let's talk about the name cioppino for a second. The legend has it that anytime a fish boat came back and really had a poor catch or didn't have much on their boat, they would grab a big old plastic bucket and walk up and down the dock saying, "Chip in, chip in." And everybody was expected to chip in because they were also expected to do the same if something happened to them and they didn't have a great catch that day. So chip in, people. Always remember to chip in. There goes our fresh basil. Let's get that rough chopped and we're moving on. And as with any good stew, you need some good bread, huh? And if you're talking San Francisco, you're talking about the Boudin sourdough factory. Go down to the wharf. That's all you smell. The damn near 200-year-old yeast that's still rolling along. In lieu of that, there's a Portuguese bakery around the corner from my house. I got some nice wheat rolls. We're going to brush those lightly with olive oil, crack some pepper, sprinkle some fresh sea salt, a little pecorino romano, and we'll top it off with some fresh herbs. A little more of that basil, a little more of that tarragon. Just a pinch. And rounding out our greenery is some nice fresh chopped Italian parsley. Make sure you wash this. It's filthy. Alright, onto our pot. Been sitting for about 3 minutes on medium heat. In goes 2 tablespoons of some nice extra virgin olive oil and about a 1/4 cup of some nice high-fat Irish Kerrygold butter. The Irish and the Italians, you gotta love them. Alright, there goes our 2 big chunks of swordfish. Here goes our larger chunks of that cod. We're going to sear those on both sides. But we're going to quick flash these smaller bits. They don't need to get cooked all the way. The reason being is we're going to try to undercook this as much as we can and then finish it up when it's in the broth. Moving right along. Small pieces out, big pieces seared on both sides. Rare to medium rare, maybe. Now then, what do we do with all that yummy flavor? Of course, in go our veggies. This is going to present our second level of flavor now, hitting the pot. Still working over medium heat. We're going to get our vegetable trio nice and coated and sweat them down for about 3 minutes. Next up, next level of flavor, fresh cracked pepper and a healthy dose. I'm talking 2 teaspoons, okay, and just a pinch, if not a whiff, of sea salt or kosher salt, but do not use iodized. It's entirely too strong. Now, continuing with the heat portion of our presentation, there goes about a half a teaspoon of red chili flakes. That'll add a little kick on the back of your palate. Yet another level of flavor with 2 heaping tablespoons of minced garlic. And yes, I had to use that pre-minced garlic in water. Oh my god, I'm such a dork, I almost passed out. Can't believe I used that crap. The old fisherman would stick a gaffing hook in me if they knew. Anyways, it works. In goes our San Marzano tomatoes, the only kind I use of canned tomatoes, and there's a reason. They're the best. Alright, incorporate those, break them up. We're starting to see a little broth come together. All those flavors are bonding. Let's go ahead and deglaze the pot. We'll get some off the sides. That's about a half a bottle of some nice Chablis. Let that simmer, cook off the wine, and yet another level of fresh cracked pepper. Yes, but 0 salt this time. Why? Because we're going to go cheater style here. I've got a teaspoon of lobster base, highly concentrated, extremely salty. No need for any salt from here on out. And now we go in with our very light shrimp broth, half a tab of shrimp paste, and we simply mix that with 8 cups of nice hot water, and it makes a nice little broth. Now, there goes our basil and our tarragon. That's the remainder. That's going to provide a nice minty counterpoint to that fennel and that nice licorice flavor that's going to really embolden this broth. Kind of take it to another level, to be honest. We give it about a 5-minute simmer on medium-low heat. And now it's time. It's time. Our first victim. Those 3/4 cooked, par-cooked periwinkles. Periwinkles, high in protein, omega-3 fatty acids, very low in fat. They're going to finish cooking in the broth, which is the idea from here on out. Bring it up to about medium heat. In go those par-cooked clams. They're only going to take about 2 minutes in this blazing hot broth. And now we finish it off with all those yummy chunks of undercooked fish. Now as they cook and release all that flavor into that broth, is anybody feeling this? I wish you could smell it. And now we do a nice little turn it to low, and we add the pièce de résistance. Okay, they're pre-cooked, they were pre-shelled. I don't feel like doing all that work, but guess what? It's still going to be tits. Alright, in goes our Italian parsley. That's going to add a little bit more greenery for the scenery. And now listen to this. Just listen. Now I know what you're thinking. Did he put 12 mussel shells and 10 periwinkles? Or was it 15 and 12? At any rate, it's not going to matter, because they're all going to get murdered. Now we're going to make like a shitty Sylvester Stallone movie and go over the top with some pecorino romano. Finish it off with the last pinch, in fact, of that bright Italian parsley. And as usual, we Irish and Italians, you don't forget the toasts, ever! Go ahead, try it.
Oh,
Dig in.
that's very nice.
Does licorice have taste in it?
Yes, sir.
Very nice.
That's a good palate for a young man. That's the fennel shining through. Start out, you got swordfish, shrimp, clams, and these big ass periwinkles, big friggin' snails from up in Atlantic, up in North Atlantic, periwinkles. That's the name of them. They're about the size of your finger, or a really nice big fat. I'm reclined, my feet are up, and I'm done for the day. Hope you all enjoy this. Peace and love to all.